Now, after that, what's next? You've written the personal statement that, the winning personal statement. Yeah, we see you. Now you've drafted that CV that's gotten you notice awesome. Now you've met the people, right? They've taken you in. How do you now leverage these opportunities? That's the next thing. And that's the next thing we're going to be doing right now is how to leverage networking opportunities, because now you won their hearts by the amazing personal statement. You've caught their attention with the good CV, the great CV. Let's see how well you can manage this network that you now have. So that's what we're on to now. We are speaking on how to leverage networking opportunities. And again, we have another very stellar speaker who will be handling this for us. Her name is Madam Oluwatoyin Asada. Now, let me give you a brief wrap up of her bio. Oluwatoyin Asada is a lawyer, speaker, and author. She's a founding partner at Sunesis DLP, a limited partnership law firm. She is a graduate of the University of Lagos and Nigerian Law School. She started her career as a legal assistant to a High Court judge at the High Court of Justice at Ibadan, Oyo State, during a National Youth Service Corps, after which she joined the law firm of Kayode Oduba & Co, where she worked as an associate lawyer. Years later, she founded Sunesis Legal Practitioner. In January of 2023, through a merger, Sunesis Legal Chartered Secretaries and Administrators of Nigeria. And she has sound experience in vast areas of legal practice, which include business law, property law, corporate and commercial transactions, dispute resolution, intellectual property, company secretaryship, family law, etc. She's also a graduate of the Joseph Business School, and she recently launched her first book titled Beyond Handshakes, Turning Your Contacts into Gold. So you see why she's the best person for this session, where we're talking about leveraging networking opportunities. She just released a book, which is titled Beyond Handshakes, Turning Your Contacts into Gold. So thank you so much for joining us today, Madam Oluwatoyin Asada. We can't wait to hear from you. We can't wait to learn from you at the summit today. So once again, we say welcome. So over to you, Oluwatoyin Asada.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, so it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much, Elizabeth, for that warm welcome and for taking time to read the resume. I have 20 minutes, right?
Yes.
So please do me a favor of just prompting me when it's like, will I say 2 minutes to the end of my time so that I won't just go on and on. I apologize if you can't see it so clearly. I'm at an event, so I just have to stop by at the lobby to, take this session. So I hope you can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. So I want to say a big thank you to the organizers of this event, the Global Learning Summit. It's a very, very worthy and laudable event and initiative that is very, very relevant to to today's youths, basically, who are on their journey to climbing the career ladder, building their businesses, and just elevating themselves. So well done to the team. So my mission here is just talk about networking, basically, and I'm going to try and do that with the limited time I have. And I've been instructed to also talk about LinkedIn as part of my conversation on networking. But I will try and marry both, because I believe strongly that in networking, you need to leverage both the physical and the online aspect of networking, because they two go hand in hand. You cannot start one and forgo the other. The most effective way to network is when you are able to leverage both opportunities. So let's start by talking about networking, defining it. What is networking? Networking, I have defined it by myself based on my experience and what I've seen to be a process of interacting with people with the intention of building a mutually beneficial relationship. That's the essence of networking. And I stressed some keywords, and I'm going to try and recap them. The word intention. So you're intentional about it. You don't just meet people for the fun of it without having a sense of purpose to that meeting and to that conversation. So that you have to be intentional about your meetings. And then mutually beneficial. It's very important to understand that when it comes to networking, if you are here and you think that networking has to do with what you can get from people, I need you to try and have a rethink right now. In networking, one of the most effective ways to even build a lasting relationship that is valuable is when if you're also thinking about how to add value to that person. So it's mutually beneficial. Also seek to add value in any way you feel you can. And in my book, I explain different ways I can add value to people, to your subordinates, to your contemporaries, and to people that, will I say, people that you look up to, people that are above you, your mentors or your supervisors, or there are different ways you can add value to people. So you also seek to add value to people, and not only to get. So that's mutually beneficial, and those are the best ways to build relationships. Because as human beings, let's face it, we don't like when people are just always coming to us when they need something from us, or when people are always trying to get from us. But we flow better in relationships when we also see that this person has added to me in one way or another, and it doesn't only have to be about money. So that being said, another thing to note in networking is the fact that it's about a relationship. So it's not a one-off. A lot of us are very used to going for events and we say, oh, network, speed network, and you meet people and that's it. Are you building a relationship? And let me just say that it's not always in the numbers. When you go to an event or you're in an online space, it's not about the number of people you're able to meet with. It's about the quality of the relationship that you're building. And one thing you should also note is the fact that when it comes to building relationships, you need to give it time. Building is not overnight. It's not in one conversation alone. You need to give it time. And that's why in networking, there are stages to networking. So the mistakes a lot of us make is we stop at the initial stage. This is the meetup stage, when you just meet the person, introduction stage. Sometimes we even build a very great rapport when we meet people, and then we just leave it at that. We don't follow up. And that follow-up is a very, very important aspect. Like that's the most important aspect of networking. That is where you build up on that initial interaction. And that is where relationships are formed. And so you need to understand these keywords. So I've taken time to explain that. I think with these explanations, I've been able to run through, some of the basic concepts of networking and what you need to bear in mind. And now let's talk about, due to time constraint, I think I want to have a feel of the room a bit, which might help me. So very quickly, just put in the chat box if you're a student or you're already, working, or you're doing both. Please put in the chat box very quickly. Let me see, have a feel of those that are in the room, have a feel of those that are there, and that would, influence my conversation. I know how to tailor whatever I'm saying to the people in the room. So very quickly, just let me know, are you a student? Are you working yet, or you're doing both? Please let me know in the chat box very quickly. Just quickly, let's have a feel of the room. So while I wait for the chats, now let me talk about the different places you can, network. So I'll be telling a lie if I say that you can only network in a particular, or maybe the list of where you can network, is limited. Okay, so Azan says he's working. Okay, it's great. I would like to have more response so that I can, get to know everyone better and, influence my conversation. So when it comes to networking, you need to understand that you can meet people anywhere. Right here on this platform, you can network. As long as two people are gathering, two human beings are gathering, it's a point for networking. So let me just even go to that basic lines, because when we say networking, people start thinking, oh, big conference, oh, big events. You can network anyway. As long as people are coming together to meet, you can network. So you can network at conferences, those big places, seminars, trainings. But you can also network at OAMBs, parties. You can network, just walking down the road, you're meeting people. I've formed beautiful friendships by just someone that I just met in a very mundane setting, in a setting that you're not even sure, that you can even meet someone. What matters the most, what you do with the connection. That's what matters. And then you can also network. You can also meet people in the online space. I just mentioned Zoom right here, right? Imagine people Toby says she's working as well. So I thought we'll have a lot of students here. Okay, working, great. So let's focus more on the career trajectory aspect. So when it comes to building connections, one veritable tool is LinkedIn. So you can build connections anywhere on the online space. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, you can build meaningful connections. But LinkedIn has been created for professionals. And it's not only about just getting a job. It's about building connections. It's about leveraging opportunities for growth. Okay, so Busayo says she's working and she's also a student. Okay, great, great. So as a student, LinkedIn is a very good tool for you. So let me quickly talk about the key, ways or some of the practical steps you can take in leveraging your LinkedIn for your growth as a career person and also maybe a business owner and a student. The first thing you need to do is that you need to optimize your profile. What is your profile looking like on LinkedIn? And so optimizing your profile, there are different things to note. Number one, your picture. What kind of picture do you have on your LinkedIn page? So I can see a picture here by Elizabeth Musa. It's a beautiful picture. But if you're going to put that, if Elizabeth is going to put the picture on LinkedIn, it needs to look more professional. It needs to look more, pictures say 1,000 words, like they say. It needs to show that, some sort of, send a message that you're being professional. So this kind of picture will work for your Instagram, your Facebook, your WhatsApp, but on LinkedIn, it needs to look professional. And you don't even necessarily need to go to a studio. Just make sure that you are in that professional setting where it's like a headshot. But if you're able to get a professional headshot, great. But if you don't, it's not a problem. Just take a good angle, use a good camera to take a good, headshot picture of yourself, preferably in your professional outfit. It just speaks volume and just gives the right impression about it because LinkedIn is a professional space. So that's one of the key things in optimizing your profile. And the next thing is you need to have a compelling headline. That your headline would highlight, what you do, your expertise. So even if you're a student, what are you studying? For example, if you're a student studying international relations, you need to make that clear in your headline. And then I'll also about content shortly, but you must put it in a way that is compelling, because you need to curate your profile in a way that will make you stand out. So you say, maybe you can just say things like currently learning how to optimize, or no, let me use the word, let me use optimize, or currently learning how to enhance international, will I say relations, in this university of blah, blah, blah. You understand? Because if you just study international relations, artists and so, it's okay. That would fly, but find a way to make it more interesting. Find a way to talk about what the essence of your studying in that school is about. That way you will stand out. So, for example, if I'm learning, let me say security studies in a particular school, I would just say, currently improving my skills in security, blah, 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 in University of XYZ. Find ways to make it interesting, and that's for students. And now for those that are working, tie in your purpose, in that organization to your headline. So, find a way to make it short and sweet, but it sends the message. So you must have a compelling headline. It's very important. Yeah, have a compelling headline. For example, if you are if you are a business analyst, you can just say, help business owners to thrive. Show the value you're adding by your headline. Then you cannot go for that to now be specific, in other parts of your LinkedIn page by saying what you do and where you work. But those are parts of what you do. And then, that's what I'm talking about. You talk about your complete profile later on. And if you look at your LinkedIn page, there are different aspects of it, where you put your picture, where you put your headline, and then when you now go through all, the works, what you are doing right now, different areas of your work. For example, as a lawyer now, if I have my picture, and then I will say, I provide legal solutions for my clients. Or I can say, I protect my clients from legal problems. You understand? And then I now go down and say, business lawyer or corporate or commercial lawyer. And also mention other areas of practice. And then I talk about, where I've worked, what I've done. And it's also help if you have had experience before. Like last week I said, the solutions you have provided, put it in your LinkedIn as well, because that's like when everybody comes down, that's like your general CV. I apologize for the noise, by the way, please. I hope you can still hear me. And then let's now go into building a strong network on LinkedIn. It's not enough to just click on connect to people that you admire, people that you want to get to know or connect with, and you just click on the connect us and think they end like that. Go take a step further to chat them up in a polite and not in an invasive manner, or just let them get to know about you by just reaching out to them and just saying hello. just saying hello basically to them. So when they connect with you, they can even start a conversation and get to know you better. So build a strong network on LinkedIn. And one of the ways to start that is to look out for those that you already know on LinkedIn. We have people already because, like I always say, we're all born into a network. You're born into an environment, you're born into a society, you went to a school, you went to a church or mosque, or, and for most of them, I'm sure we've all been through like primary, secondary, university, even to master's level. So we've had a network of people. So on LinkedIn, find your tribe there, find those you know already there. That helps you to build, a network. And then from there, you can now search for other people, or look at, common connection with those that you already know. That's a way of building a network on LinkedIn. So that way you are able to connect better. And like I said, find a way to reach out to them. Another great way to leverage LinkedIn for networking is to engage posts. People that you've connected with, your contemporaries and those you admire that you've connected on LinkedIn, engage their posts. Comment, excuse me. Excuse me. Engage by leaving comments in their posts. You can send them messages, like their posts. It's interesting to see how in comment sections, people even now build connections there, because when you give a comment, some people check your comment and now even start connecting with you. They follow you on LinkedIn, they connect with you, or you can even start a conversation in the comment section of a particular post. When you're engaging, the person that you're engaging, the person whose post you're engaging will get to know you better. And then the person, sorry, there's so much noise around me. Just apologize for the noise. Anyway, the person whose post
that's fine, we can hear you
better. Thank you. And even in the comment section, those in the comments can be able to even converse with you. So that's a very good strategy to build your connection on LinkedIn. Engage your posts, and also you yourself post often. Post about anything. If you're a student, whatever aspects that you are learning in or you're studying in, post about it. Articles, your thoughts, your experiences in your school. Have you moved to a new country, a new neighborhood, or a new continent altogether? Share your experiences. What has your experience been? People like to relate with you. So find common grounds and create content in that regard. And even in what you are, studying or your field of, practice, share, learning points regarding it. So that those are content ideas. So I think my 20 minutes might have been exhausted. Do you want to have more time? I don't want to, overshoot the time.
I think you have some minutes more.
Okay. Yes. So yeah, so thank you very much. So I have let me just quickly. So let me know if I'm, when it's time to round up.
Okay.
So another strategy you can employ on LinkedIn is to engage with events. On LinkedIn, there are various events on LinkedIn. So, online events. So join these events. When you're in these events, ask questions. I'm going to tarry a little more on ask questions. And this applies to both physical and online meetups and meetings. Physical meetings, you go for conferences. It's not enough for just buy the ticket for the conference and you attend the conference and then just sit down from morning till night. One key tool that's worked for me, my experience in networking, is asking questions. Those that know me know that in any event I am at, I'm always engaging. I'm always asking questions. And that's one of the key tools for me to make great connections. That not even being a networker to a connector. Because there are levels to this thing where you're not only even network, you're not only the one benefits from your network, you're able to connect others. And that's been by asking questions. If you go to a forum, an event, ask questions. I know it might feel like daunting because you might be shy, and you're scared, or maybe your question does not make sense. But trust, take a leap of faith and ask your question. You never can tell. Number one, you're helping others. And number two, you are becoming, you're standing out from the crowd. That's a great standard because there are so many people in all these events. But how do you stand out? One of those studies is asking questions. So this applies to both online and physical events. Make sure you ask questions, make contributions as well. If you don't have questions, make contributions. But always respect the time of that event. Don't go on and on. Be specific and make whatever you're saying relevant to the discussion that is at hand. So that's very important. Join meetings and online events, online seminars, and engage in all of these meetings. Another thing you can do is you can reach out to people. If you have questions, there are people that we look up to, that are idols, and thank God for the internet space where people that on a normal day you cannot easily access, you're able to access them at on the online space, even on Instagram. LinkedIn is good because on LinkedIn especially when you present yourself in a way that is very professional and in a very mature and sensible manner, they are open to having a conversation with you. I've had people trust me and say, well, I want you to talk to me about this. I want you to mentor me in this area. And I've always been very open, to them, because they've come into my DM and they've been respectful, they've been polite, and they have been specific about what they want. So reach out to people. If you need insights, if you need more understanding of something, if you need more clarity, if you need more information, just reach out to them on the DM. And also, I'll just end by saying this. It's very important I put a balanced conversation. We are all different. People are different. People are, we are all like, people have quirks, and people are not always, going to give you everything you want. So in networking, prepare yourself for rejection. Don't be afraid of rejection, but prepare yourself for rejection. That way, you don't take it to heart, and that way you don't get discouraged. Because from my experience, I've had more yeses than nos in terms of interaction, in terms of following up, in terms of reaching out to people. Always prepare your mind that you will get no sometimes. But guess what? Your self-worth would always keep you. And in my book, I have a whole chapter on, doing the inner work. The inner work is very important, because one of the reasons why we all get shy, we have imposter syndrome, because from the inside, we feel like, oh, maybe I'm not good enough. Or maybe they will not, when I go and chat them up, they will just snub me. And that has happened. It's possible. But guess what? From my experience, people are more open when you interact with them, when you approach them, than, than the ratio of those that would reject you are very minimal compared to those that would accept you or be open to having a conversation with you. So don't be afraid of rejection. Always be approachable, and also know that it's a journey. So even when you make mistakes, you learn. And that's why I took time to write this book, which I'm plugging right here. It's titled Beyond Handshakes, Turn Your Contact into Gold. This is the hard copy, and if you're getting it, you get that 20% discount. And I'll leave a link, and I'm sure the organizers will talk more about it, but I'll leave a link in the chat box for you to get more information about it, because you need to learn. Networking is a skill. It's not about it's not a one-off, and you build that skill every day. It's almost like a muscle that you build. It's not like, oh, I'm a networker, I've done it. Even I, the author, I'm still learning. I even still read my own book. I read more books. You need to keep improving yourself and growing in areas that you need improvement. And when I say networking is a skill, it's not about I'm an introvert or an extrovert. It's about the skills you apply. I think I had mentioned that earlier. It's about using the principles to work in your favor, because every personality type has its advantage when it comes to networking. For example, let me just say quickly, extroverts tend to talk and talk and talk, and they don't listen. But introverts listen better. And in networking, you need to be so the skill of listening is very important, because that helps your interaction. That helps you to know even how to follow up and the talking points follow up on. And then on the flip side too, introverts have a problem with breaking the ice, but extroverts don't have a problem with breaking the ice. So you can see that it's not about your personality type, it's about the value, it's about the skills, it's about the principles that you need to apply to your own personality type and leveraging it for your own, in your own interactions. So you need to study more and read more to build that muscle of networking, because when you learn and then you practice, you get better at it. So I'll just stop here and let the moderator take over. Thank you so much for your time. I hope you found value in what I shared.
We found loads and loads of value. I mean, if not that we had like a time stamp and a time frame, you could go on and on and on, and we'll just be taking notes. I mean, look at my book. Like, I've been taking loads and lots of notes. So thank you so much for your time. Even while you happened to be at an event, you still took time to talk to us. And trust me, there was no interference. We heard you, and we heard you clearly. I've taken lots of notes. I mean, you spoke about understanding how to prepare for rejection, even while you network. Like, I mean, there's going to be just doing the inner work just helps. And I think that's something I really took it, because when you do the inner work, you just know that there are times you could get like 80 yeses. Or oftentimes you find people that they get 80 yeses, get 20 no's, and it seems to be that the 20 no's is what they focus on out of the ratio of 80-20. But when you've done the inner work, you know that that's just a part of life. It's not even a no. It's just not things work for you. Things don't work against you. Like, everything it works for you. So maybe it wasn't time for that or whatnot. And also, you've also talked about how it's important to be a solution provider and while you're networking, because oftentimes people just meet people and they're just thinking of how to get, but then it's a two-way street. You could also reach out to someone that inspires you, someone you admire, and also project yourself and how you can be of value to them, and also asking questions. I find that most times, even for introverts, you find, especially due to backgrounds, people tend to shy away or feel like, it doesn't mean I'm doing, like we say in Nigerian parlance, doesn't mean I'm doing notice me. But that's not even the case. It's just what stands you out, because what makes you different from the other person? Like, if everyone just sitting and looking, how then do you even get noticed? So thank you for that. Also, optimizing your headline, taking great pictures. Oftentimes, it's an investment. I'm just recapping so many of the things you said so that everyone who is here also can just, put it together, because I've managed to just summarize everything. Leveraging LinkedIn for growth, connecting with the right people, taking great pictures that will show your professionalism, especially on a platform like LinkedIn, creating your profile in a way that makes you stand out, showing the value of where you work, solutions you've provided as well, building a strong network on LinkedIn. I happen to be someone that when people send me people send loads and loads of requests. I'm just like, you're just accepting everything. At the end of this, there's that. Sometimes I look at it, I'm like, do I really need this?
I really know you.
Yeah, because I'm like, I've just added all of these people now. Like, who is this person? But sometimes I just add. So I think I've taken notes of that. And so, yeah, thank you so much for sharing with us. I had a question, but let me see if people have questions in the comment section so we can take it.
Okay.
If you have questions, please drop it in the comment section so we can take it. Okay, so I'm going to ask this question while I wait.
Okay.
When you go for instance, when you go for events and you strike a connection with someone at the event, probably about what you do, things, whatever it is, and it seemed like it was off to a great start. Okay, let's talk. Please call me. Make sure you call me. Those things. Make sure you call. Make sure you text. Make sure you do this. And then after the event, you text or you follow up, and they just go cold. What's the reason for that, or how do you handle that? Because oftentimes you're like, but this person was very eager, like, call me. Does it happen that maybe it's just the spur of the moment? Maybe that's just the person's reaction to just make it, because they just go cold. So how do you handle that?
Okay, thank you for that. That's a very, very good question. When it comes to networking, I've experienced that, a couple of times, and I used to wonder. And it's interesting because I actually mentioned that in my book, talking about how to handle rejection. As if you even, I've kind of preempted your question by talking about rejection. That's some form of rejection because you already had a vibe, you already feel like, oh, I've made a connection, and then the person just goes cold on you. That's the starting point is having a self-worth, a great self-worth. And let me just say here that self-worth is something you need to keep reminding yourself about. The more you do it, the better you are at it. That these persons, will I say, ghosting me or being quiet or snubbing me does not reflect on me. It's on the person. The person has their reason for, not interacting well with me the way, I would have loved to. It doesn't mean that I don't have value. When you have that mentality at the back of your mind, it helps because that way you won't be a pest. Because sometimes when we are always texting people, messaging them, calling, it speaks to an insecurity in us that we're trying to fight by disturbing them. If you have a healthy self-worth, when you've tried to reach out, you can try to give it some time, try again. I give it like 3 times or sometimes, depending on what I don't really bother so much because I feel like sometimes the message is clear. I don't want to talk to you. When they see your message, they read it and they don't respond. You call them and they don't. I think the message is clear. But if you really, really need something from them, there are ways to, you can try again, but also understand that sometimes know when to walk away, know when to let it go. Like I said before, there are most situations, right? There are more people that would accept you than those that would reject you, quote unquote. So focus on those ones. And it's just like I said, people are different for some reason. And sometimes they may not even see your message. Sometimes they read it and maybe they forgot to respond. So that's why it's always good to try again. So if you try again and it doesn't work, you can give it one last push and that's it. It could be that, for so many reasons, you might think you really interacted well, but maybe the person didn't have the same impression of you. I've noticed also that some people are just very, very out of sight, out of mind kind of people. They're like that. That's the way they operate. If they don't see you, they forget about you. When they say that, So There are people like that. I need to understand that that can happen. And also, what was your interaction like when you were talking to the person? Were they talking points? Are you just saying, nice to meet you, I met you at that conference? You have to take a step further. And that's why when it comes to networking, there are tips you can use in it. Icebreakers. Get to know the person, have a meaningful interaction that you can now build upon in your follow-up. For example, if I meet you, it's not enough just say, oh, hi, I'm a lawyer, I'm an author. Let's get to each other on one-on-one. You can comment on my red lipstick. I can comment on your picture. I can comment on your hair. I can comment on, oh, is it your first time at this event? Oh, what do you do? Let's go deeper. That's how you're building a rapport. And so when I'm following up with you, I'm following up with you based on what you're. So I can say, oh, I heard you're preparing for your PhD. How is that going? Now because your admission, or how's your PhD thesis going? We are building up on what we discussed earlier. So that's that way, you're not like every other person just trying to follow up. You are building a rapport, and most people will respond, person to that. And if they don't, it's okay. The main message is know when to walk away, and it's okay. It doesn't reflect on you. It doesn't mean you're, something wrong with you. Maybe you're not worthy, or you're not someone that is worth, being friends with or connecting with. Some people are just like that. And when they leave an event, just forget about you. That's the truth. Even they clearly have issues with their networking skills. And some people just say, what, I don't think I really like that person, and they would not message you, and that's okay. But it should not reflect on you. I keep talking about the inner work. You need to affirm yourself every day. You need to do it as, okay, even if not every day, as much as you can. You need to understand whose you are. I'm a Christian, so I believe so much that, my value doesn't come from even what I have, even the books I've written, even my work, even how much money I have in the bank. My value comes from God. I'm worthy because God has called me worthy. And that's, once you have your value on something that's strong, it can't be moved. If you have your money, if you put your value on money, if you don't have money, then you lost your value. If you put your value on how you look, what happens when you don't look so good? Maybe you have pimples or something, and so have a strong and healthy self-worth and identity. It goes back to that. That will help to navigate the networking journey, meeting people, and also dealing with rejection or being smart. I hope that's been helpful.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you so much. I mean, you've shared a lot. This is more than gold. Thank you so much for your time, and nice red lipstick. Let me tell you, you look really good. Thank you so much.